IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We've got the head of Sky Sports Boxing, Mr. Adam Smith.
Hi James, how are you?
I'm very well. Looking very dapper and debonair today, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, it was a big announcement. It's a compelling rematch and one that we've been all looking forward to. We wonder whether it will get over the line, as all these things, when big fights and egos and different promotional sides are put together, it's always tough to make, but I think they came to absolutely the right conclusion, James. It has to happen again. It was so dramatic the first time around. The majority, probably 90-95% of people, thought that David Haye would blow Tony Bellew away. It didn't happen. As we know, the fight unfolded. Huge respect to David Haye for getting through it. Showed another side to him with the injury, but what a win for Tony Bellew, a wonderful win, and how far he's come in a couple of years to become the big name he has. I was wandering around the Open with him up at Birkdale just a few weeks ago, and I couldn't believe, I know it was near Liverpool, so obviously there was a lot of local fans there, but I couldn't believe the attention that Tony Bellew now carries. You know, he's a man of the people, isn't he? And it's a rocky story, even on the cinema as well. He's a great guy. It's a great tale. I'm really pleased he's got the chance of trying to prove the critics and the bookies wrong again. But I'm equally delighted that David Haye has got the chance of redemption, because at his best, I love watching David Haye. He's a beautiful fighter to commentate on, to watch at ringside. He's got huge power. He's got terrific skills. The question is, has he got 12 rounds in him? Has he got the fight? Has he got it when it gets tough? We know he's there. There's no quit in him, as we saw last time. But is the body going to hold up to the years of injuries and living the way he has? And I think that, you know, he doesn't know the answer to that. He's saying the right things, back in the gym on the Monday morning, rehabilitated, you know, left the services of Shane McGuigan, who I think was good for David. He's a good young trainer. Ishmael Salas, different, more experienced, obviously, very tactical, very technical. You heard him up there, round by round. That's the right thing to do. He's got to try and outclass and outbox Tony Bellew this time. It's possible on paper. Can he do it in reality?
Tony Bellew, as you mentioned, has had a huge sort of platform, huge status, and everybody's sort of revered in Tony Bellew since that win over David Haye. Is it a chance for Tony Bellew to prove that it wasn't luck, it wasn't fluke, but he belongs at the top table?
I think he definitely belongs at the top table. I think his personality has driven him to the top table every time. I think there have been many times we've been frustrated, infuriated with Tony Bellew, wondering if he's really that good, you know, 3 ABA titles, and then the stinkers with Isaac Chilemba being knocked down by Oval McKenzie and Bob Adjasaf, and obviously the trip to Canada and when it all went wrong against Adonis Stevenson. I was trying to forget it, actually, but when I looked at Eddie after a minute of that, thinking, you know, look, you know, sometimes those things happen, but I think at light heavyweight, certainly he outgrew it, and at cruiserweight he's had life breathed into him, and I think the big win was against Masternak, the European title. I think gave him the confidence he could go 12 hard rounds at cruiserweight. Then he had you know, the Makabu victory in front of him. He had the pressure on him again. He said,
especially getting knocked down as well. So
getting knocked down, but also sort of, you know, selling the event on a Sunday. This is on a Sunday as well. You know, he was tasked with bringing the fans to Everton. He said he'd do it at Goodison Park. He had a huge amount of stuff to deal with, you know, from a pressure point of view before that fight, you know, and a dangerous fight. But there's something in Tony Bellew. He's a fighter's fighter. He's a tough guy, and you know, it'll be a fool to back against him again, because he's done it once. You know, I don't think he gets the respect, and I think he will do once he's retired. I mean, if he wins this, maybe he'll call it a day. Maybe he'll try and go for a WBO heavyweight title, maybe a Joseph Parker. Let's see what happens there, or maybe fight someone like a Dylan White. I don't think he's going to go anywhere near his friend AJ, who's much bigger than him, and maybe not near Wilder, although that'll be a fun build-up. I think he just wants to get David Haye washed out of his hair. I think that's a big thing. It's another big money fight for him too, and he's made no, he doesn't hide the fact that he's doing this for his family. This is business. But I spend a lot of time with Tony, obviously. Both of them are analysts for us, David and Tony. It have been great the other side of the ropes, but and I like them very much. But I spent a lot of time with Tony recently. You know, he's had a terrible family tragedy that not many people know about, and you know, our heart and condolences are with Rachel and everybody, and he's a very real person, Tony. And this is business, and he's seeing it as such. So he wants to get this done. He wants to get the money in the bank, whatever bank robbing David Haye was talking about, and I sort of see what he's saying. But you know, Tony brought it back down to reality. It's a fight. It's a dangerous fight. It's a dangerous business. They want to get their money into the bank, and they want to put on a great show for the fight fans. And I think it will be a cracking fight. There's more pressure on David, obviously. There's a lot of last chance saloon about it. But I think Tony, we may see him retire after this.
You mentioned David Haye now. If he's got aspirations to face the likes of Anthony Joshua and WBO World Champion Joseph Parker and WBC Champion Deontay Wilder, should he effectively be taking care of people like Tony Bellew at heavyweight, in your opinion?
I think he has to be winning this fight on December the 17th. I think if it's a close one again, you can come again, probably with David. But I think that if David loses like he did last time, the body gives up, then it looks like it's definitively over. But even if the body holds up and he loses it in a similar fashion, I think that the road will be run. I don't think there'll be a lot of places. You never know in heavyweight boxing. I'd never say never. You know, there's Joseph Parker around the corner, there's Deontay Wilder. They need challenges, they need defences. So I'd never say never. But I think it's almost a must-win fight for David Haye, this, because if he's going to be taken seriously in the heavyweight division again, the former world heavyweight champion who hasn't had a real fight apart from Bellew for a long, long time now, or a really decisive win.
Let's not underestimate Mark Dimori here. I think.
He hasn't, let's be honest. And I think that if he doesn't take care of Tony Bellew, he's going to be struggling. But he's had a great career, David, and he thinks there's more to it. He's got an ambition and a want to be heavyweight champion of the world again. He wants to fight AJ. If he beats Tony, that'll be a massive fight next year. You know, one win and he's in the AJ sweepstakes again, and Wembley and London, and we know how they'll sell it. It'll be absolutely brilliant. So, you know, don't write David Haye off just yet, but I think he knows deep down how important this is, and that's why he was in the gym on the Monday morning. That's why he's rehabilitating. That's why he knows it's about tactics. He'll say about, I'm not weighing myself. He will come in lighter. He will come in faster. He will come in to outclass and outbox Tony Bellew. The question for me is twofold: will the body held up, and will Tony Bellew be able to go through it all again? If the answer to those are the body won't hold up, the fight's over. If the answer is, can Tony go through it again? If the answer is, David Haye's got the power to trouble him and that maybe he can't do it, Haye can win the fight. The bookies think Haye wins the fight. Bookies are normally right. Occasionally they're wrong, but they're normally right. That's interesting, because I wouldn't have had David Haye as favourite. I don't know about you, James, but I wouldn't have done for this one.
Do you think this is a chance for David Haye not only to get redemption, but to regain maybe some respect in the public eye for some remarks he said in the first build-up? Today, for instance, he acted with a lot more decorum. He was a lot more downspoken. He wasn't. He had made a few analogies, but not some maybe we're used to hearing.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think this is all part of the sort of the rebuilding of David Haye at this stage, if you like?
I think David's always said things for effect. I think he's always tried to sort of, in quotes, sell the event. Will he play the bad guy? Will he play the good guy? I think this time around, the first fight tells you all you needed to know. I think a lot of people thought it was a mismatch last time, and I think that he probably felt he had to sell it and go a little bit overboard with some of the stuff, and that's what, you know, trying to get under Tony's skin, etc., with some of the remarks he made, which were downright wrong. And I think that, you know, you learn, maybe you grow up a little bit too, and I think he got a painful lesson. As he said up there, he lost the fight. You know, the towel was waved and he lost. So he's got to come back from that. I think the way he does it is this way, and the way is that he's got the respect now for Tony Bellew, certainly as a fighter. He goes into the gym and he keeps quieter this time. The fight sells itself. People want to see what happens. We were left with questions after the first fight. They will be answered emphatically on December the 17th. And I hope we get as good a story unfolding, whichever way it goes, again. But I think you'll see less noise from David. I think there may be one or two sparks, of course. I mean, it wouldn't be David Haye if there wasn't something. But I think that the calmness of this press conference shows to me how important David Haye is taking this fight as a must-win last chance saloon. And as for Tony, relax as ever. Why not? He's done it once. He wants to do it again. He believes he'll do it again. He believes he'll upset the bookies. He loves this. He loves proving people wrong, and he wants to do it all over again.
Adam Smith, thank you very much for doing a great job, sir. Please keep on Eddie for the increasement of more 50-50 fights. You're the man to make sure it happens. So
we'll try. We'll try.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.